Welcome everybody to a new episode of Patriot Specialized.
We ride across these plains and prairies, Rocky Mountain highs, fade off into the distance like ghost riders in the sky.
First off, I'd like to say, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for tuning in today. Hopefully you enjoy what you see, and if you do, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and check out my other videos for other entertaining shenanigans that I get into. I don't think I've done anything real crazy. So I started to talk yesterday when I picked this load up. I did a little commentary yesterday about the load I had on yesterday that I delivered, and I talked a little bit about this one. This load, I explained it yesterday in the end of that video, or the beginning of that video, I think it was, that the place I picked up from, it's kind of makes it an event that it doesn't really need to be. So I was there for quite a while. I think I ended up being there about 4 hours to put this thing on, and I just didn't need to be there that long. They loaded pretty fast, but I said in that episode to stay tuned for this episode so I would show you how to take a 10.5 foot wide bulldozer and make it a legal load. I got lucky on this one. I wasn't sure. I ordered the permits. It was my fault. I should have just had her order the first couple permits, and that would have prevented us spending money we didn't need to spend, because as it turns out, I was able to make this thing legal. I didn't know. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to, so I went ahead and ordered the permits. I wasn't sure because this is a model I've never picked up before. It's a Doosan DD100 bulldozer with a 10.5 foot blade. It only weighs 26,000 pounds, pretty light unit. Tracks themselves are only about 7 foot 6 inches wide. It's about 7 foot 6 inches wide. The blade was the wide part. Nothing super difficult about it other than making it legal. So when I get it, what you're about to see in the video is I jumped out, did some commentary, walked around it, and I showed you how to make it legal. Now, had I known that this body type was very similar to the D5, I would not have ordered these permits. I would have just known that I could make it legal. Unfortunately, I didn't. This is the first time I ever hauled a Doosan DD100, so I didn't know that it was the same body style. However, now I know. So a DD100, if you ever haul one, is equivalent to a D5 cat dozer with a 10.5 foot blade. Both of which you can do exactly what I did in the video, and you'll see. You can angle the blade and then turn the machine and make it legal. So I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Again, I appreciate everybody tuning in.
Black smoke and white line, steel horses side by side. It's more than just a living, y'all. Hell, it's our way of life. We're the last of the cowboys to giddy up gone boys. 18 wheels on the concrete, it's a slow and dying breed. Rolling like Jesse James, modern day outlaw game. If you're out here riding with me, come on back and make some noise. We're the last of the cowboys. It's a family tradition, diesel's running through our veins. Daddy showed us the roads, we were born in the fast lane.
You know what, I do need to, real quick, I do need to apologize. In episode 44, I think it was, I did that pop quiz where I asked about what states would allow me to run at night. And I got to apologize to all you guys. You know, I was watching the comments, and And it didn't dawn on me while I was answering the comments, but I started looking back through them, and I'm like, why is everybody asking about width and weight? And I never said what I was permitting for. So I apologize for that. I guess I should have known. I should have looked at that before I thought about it. I didn't tell you guys what size that thing was, so you would have no idea how to be able to pick out what states I could run in. So I apologize for that. However, I appreciate all the comments. You guys gave it a valiant effort, regardless of me giving you terrible information and not enough of it. So I appreciate that, and I apologize. Next time I'll make sure I give you all the information when I'm doing one of these pop quiz, when I'm expecting you to be able to answer a question. So anyways, I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you learned something from it. This is definitely interesting. You can absolutely take a 10.5-foot wide dozer and make it legal.
Keep this country rolling. We're damn proud of what we do. We're the last of the cowboys. Giddy up, gone boys. 18 wheels on the concrete. It's a slow and dying breed. Rolling like Jesse James. Modern day outlaw game. If you're out here riding with me, come on back and make some noise. We're the last of the cowboys. Third-time generation. A little old school salvation. Blazing trails across this nation. From sea to shining sea. We're the last, we're the last, we're the last of the cowboys.
Welcome everybody. This is I promised you a little bit yesterday in the episode that I did that I would I'd show you how to make a 10.5-foot wide bulldozer a legal load. This is our baby right here. This is a Doosan DD100 bulldozer. Weighs about 26,000 pounds. I think it's like 24,900 and some pounds with no fuel in it. So probably somewhere around 26 with fuel in it. Pretty good unit. This one happens to be brand new. I picked it up in Savannah, Georgia. It's delivering in Kalamazoo, Michigan. So securement on it was pretty basic. I don't know how much you can see. I'll pick you up here in a minute and show you the securement on it. Securement was pretty basic on it. But the important part here is when they brought this machine over, that blade was straight, obviously. And with the blade being straight, I'll bring you over here and show you this here in a minute, but with the blade being straight, it was actually sticking out away from the trailer pretty far on both sides. So what I had him do was I had him angle the blade. Once he angled this blade, then I had him bring the unit up on, and I saw where it was sitting on a trailer. And when it was centered on the trailer, this blade on this side actually sticks out away from the tracks about 1/2 foot, maybe almost a foot. That side over there, with it angled that way, it's actually even with the tracks on the other side. So when he brought it up on the trailer and the tracks were positioned evenly on the trailer, that was not good enough to get us legal. So he brought it up, it was positioned, this thing basically was sticking way out here. So I had him back up a little bit. You can see right down this edge here. You can see right down this edge here. Camera's pretty good at making it look straight, but it's not straight. This portion, the front of this thing is moved over about 2 inches. So what I did, I angled the blade, and I'll take you over and show you this side. And this is what it looks like on this side. So once he angled that blade, I had him take the whole bulldozer and kind of move it over this way so it was dead even with the metal on the edge of the track. So whatever way you're going to turn it, that's the way you want to put it on. You want to bring it in closer to the side you're going to turn it to. So in my case, I was going to have him turn to the right. So I had him bring the bulldozer even with the edge of my track, or even with the edge of the frame on my trailer, and start moving back. Once he got it in a position where I wanted it weight-wise on the trailer, which on this thing, it really doesn't matter a whole lot. There isn't enough weight here to really make a difference. So I basically did my best to center it, was all I really needed to do with this one because it's so light. So once I got it centered on the trailer, front to back, and he was close to the frame on that side, I had him stop, lower the blade down, angle it the way I wanted it, and then I just had him take that whole unit and just turn it. So all we did was just turn the whole thing just a little bit, and that brought that blade right there. This blade here was sticking out over about this far, and that brought that blade right in. As he was turning the machine, it brought this blade right in over here. And this side, I'll take you over and show you the other side. This side over here was actually this corner of this frame on a blade, or the corner of the edge of the blade was way over here when he started, and then when he turned it, it just turned this whole thing. So and all I did was all I worried about was that side over there. Once it was in, I knew this side was good. I knew this side would be right where it needed to be. So you can see right down the edge of this that this thing is sitting a little bit crooked, and that's all you got to do. It's literally as easy as that to make these things straight. So there you go. That's our unit here. That is how you take a 10.5 foot wide bulldozer and make it legal. Because we're now 8 foot 6 inches wide. I don't need any permits. I'm not held to any time restrictions. I'm not held to curfews. So made this trip a lot easier. It also, here's the other catch, and this is something I don't talk about much with logbooks. Because this thing ended up being legal, I didn't leave Savannah until it was about 4 o'clock, 4:30 yesterday afternoon. And had this thing been oversized, had I not been able to turn it and make it legal, I would have had to stop in South Carolina for sure. I would only had about maybe 2 hours that I could have run coming out of there. I think curfew, it would have been about 6:30. I would have had to shut down. As now, because I made it legal, I didn't have that curfew, so I could keep running. And I ended up running, I didn't run my full logbook. I had like 5.5 hours I could have ran. I ended up running about 3 and shutting it down. The catch there is, and what I wanted to tell you was, and for anybody that has been driving for a while, you know how to work a logbook. It's not tough. The electronic got a little bit tricky, but you know how to work a logbook, you know how to make it work for you. So this particular case, because I spent so much time there doing absolutely nothing. I got there, they pulled me in, I got loaded, then I waited, and 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 I waited. And all I was waiting for was for them to authorize the shipment to leave. So I was able to, and legally allowed to log sleeper berth during that time, because I wasn't doing anything. I was literally sitting in my bunk. So I was technically on sleeper berth, and I was able to log sleeper berth, which extends your day. So I was able to instead of losing all that time while I was sitting, there was 3 hours of on-duty time that I had there that I would have had to, it would have cut my logbook down. I was able to go on sleeper berth that extends my day. It gave me that full 5.5 hours. When I pulled in there, I had 5.5 hours to run. Had I not been able to use sleeper berth and extend my day, then I would have only had about an hour and a half or 2 hours to run once I got loaded and got out of there, and they finally said I could leave. So, sleeper berth exemption, used it for 3 hours, extended my day, ran till I got tired in the evening, and I shut it down for the night. Took my 10-hour break, because you definitely want to do that. Split sleeper is kind of tricky when you're running like I do. So, if I need to use it, like yesterday, what I'll do is I'll use it for the time that's appropriate, for, in this case 3 hours. Then I'll take a full 10-hour break. So I extended my day, but I also have full hours for the next day, and I don't have to worry about starting to split. So there you go. That's how I got out of there. This is our unit. It's a Doosan DD100 bulldozer. Also the same exact unit as a Cat D5. So this trick that I just used right here and all my securement, it's exactly the same for a D5. So I'm gonna cover securement real quick. As you can see on this side, I just did 2 X chains on the back. We're only 26,000 pounds, so doesn't require a ton of securement. So I did 2 X chains on the back. I also did on the back side of the unit, front of the trailer. On the back side here, I took this chain and I used the chain solely to be able to hook to the trailer and have my binder, and then I hooked my binder on the track on this side, pulling this way. I did the same thing over there with the chain, hooked it to the trailer, and then I just tossed the excess chain back in there. And just for good measure, because it was going a little distance, I went ahead and threw another chain on the back. Don't really need it. 4 chains would have been plenty. But I went ahead and put my clevises on, because these holes were a little bit too small for my chain hook to go through. So I put my clevises on, and I just ran 1 chain all the way across down the other side. Gave it a binder, just pulling backwards on it, just in case I need to slam on the brakes, man. I don't want this thing. I don't want to meet this thing in the front of my trailer. So there you go. That's how you make probably any bulldozer that's got a 10.5 foot blade. You could probably do it and make it legal. But definitely a Doosan DD100, and I know for a fact I've done it with a Cat 5 with a 10.5 foot blade. You can make it legal. So there you go. I'm gonna get this thing delivered tomorrow morning. I hope to get some footage of that. And I do have a couple other loads booked, and I'll talk about that later on this evening. So I hope this was useful to you. If it is, make sure you hit that like button. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. If you like what you see and you think this is useful to you, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. It means a lot to me, and I appreciate every one of them. So I'm gonna get back in this truck. I'm gonna run the rest of my day off, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day. Talk to you soon.